seen what are the out of the box process and what is the business process flow and what is the out of the box action, right? So whenever we are creating any process, so we are getting some kind of a notification right in the form ribbon. If you see here, if you create a automation automation workflow, it is opening some window. It is opening the designer process designer. There we could see, if you see, image creating dummy. So if you see, it is opening workflow dot edit ASPX. So this was the older CRM version which is built on the ASPX pages. But the newer CRM, if you see, this is also ASPX, but here they are using what you call fluid AI. So this is kind of a different modern technology. So this whatever you are using, this create form everything, this classic designer, this is completely the legacy technology. So if you see here, whenever we are seeing, we recommend using Microsoft Flow instead of background flows. Click here to start building flows. So Microsoft product itself, they have suggested to use Power Automate flows for the background flows. Background means which are running in the asynchronous. Okay. So why? Because whenever you create in for each record, there will be an instance will be created. Suppose if you have 1,000 accounts, 1,000 accounts, you are triggering on creation every day. If you are creating thousands, and if you are making wait after you are asking to, you are doing some kind of waiting condition in this flow. So until that time, every day 1,000 into 30 days means 30,000. Like that, every day those will be piled up, right? So whenever a processor created for each record, this will become a burden to the CRM server because it has to store the every detail, right? So what they introduced the Microsoft Power Platform. Okay, in the Power Platform we have Power Automate to do this kind of jobs operations. Okay, so today we are going to learn on Power Platform only. So within Power Platform, we have the Power Automate, right, to do this kind of jobs, everything. So this is the Power Automate environment. This is similar to Power Apps. We have the environment. We have the environment here. Okay. Here also in the left side we have the everything, right? Solutions, everything. Here also you will be the same creative new flow, templates, learning Power Automate. It will show the my flows, means it will show the flows created by only you. Approval solutions, Power Automate, these are okay. Now coming to what is mean by Power Automate. So basically Power Automate will do some kind of automation, process automation for your CRM on non-CRM as well. So first we will learn about CRM, what are the connectors, everything. Okay. Now if you see here, here we have create button, right? In the home page, if you see, it will have this nothing. You have some Copilot interface where you can you can create the Power Automate with Copilot prompts as well. Okay. So this we will learn after some knowledge we got into Power Automate. So whenever you're creating, you need to understand what are the types we have. First of all, there are these many ways to create a for automate flows. So you can create a automated cloud flow. You can create an instant cloud flow. You can create a scheduled cloud flow. You can give it to Copilot prompt, describe it to design it. So if you give the proper description, automatically it will create. And the desktop flow. If you go below, you have the templates. Okay. Now if you see, I just want to see the first types. What are the types? So whenever you want to do any job, any process, anything you want to do automation, basically that needs trigger, right? Even our process also, we are looking on the triggers, start when. So this is here also we will have the automated flow to support that triggered by a designed event. It could be record creation, it could be record update, it could be record deletion, it could be record assignment like that. Okay. So automated cloud form means that will be triggered by some other processor, some other event. Automatically triggers it means. Okay. So this will be invoked by some other event. You don't invoke manually. Okay. Now if you see the second one is instant cloud flow. Triggered manually as needed. Means whenever you want to run, suppose if you want to you want to test, you are doing some bug fix. You want to use it for one time only. That time you can't use it this event, right? Automatically triggered by another event. So what you can do, you can just created your instant cloud flow. You will run it for one time, then you will disable it. So such kind of operation we will be using manually trigger, that is instant cloud flow. And the next one is scheduled cloud flow. So by the name itself, it is suggesting. Schedule means what? You want to run it up based upon certain time, like kind of a alarm. For every day, 7 o'clock, I want to do something. If you want to set up such kind of flow, you will be using this. So whatever the flow type, triggering type, the main aim is to what is the main aim of the Power Automate? You want to do some automation without doing manually. You want to update some 5,000. Suppose if you have 5,000 records, if you want to update a single field in 5,000 records, that is also taking some good amount of time, right? So to avoid such kind of manual operations, if you want to do some automate, Power Automate, so there we will be using this Power Automate flows. Okay. Any questions so far? Understanding what is Power Automate and what are the types we have? Okay. Now let's dig into one of this. So I'm just creating a new instant flow. So if you see, whenever you are creating a new instant flow, choose how triggers the flow. So when do you want to trigger this instant cloud flow? So we are assuming we want to trigger our on our manual basis. So I'm just giving some name. So I want to trigger whenever I click it. So I'm just selecting. So for the instant cloud flow, the trigger will be like this. You will have a kind of manual trigger. Now, if you see here, you have parameters, you have settings, you have code view, you have about. So, whatever the Power Automate action backend, this is a API simple. So, whenever you are creating a Power Automate means you are connecting to Dataverse or you're connecting to the Excel through API endpoints. So, if you convert, you can convert that entire design into JSON. I said, okay, like this. Okay. Now, if you see here, you have add inputs, right? So what do you mean by inputs? So suppose if you want to pass any parameters to the below to the Power Automate flow, suppose if you want to pass date, so you can pass the date, today's date. So here also here, please enter the select date. So here you have to fill in this format actually. Okay. So right now I'm hard coding it. But in general, we don't want to hard code. As it is in my manual trigger, one time I want to run it for one time. I want to do hard code. Okay, so I'm just using manual trigger and I'm using variable. Now if you see whenever I'm trying to say what it's saying, your flow should contain at least one trigger and one action. So this is the trigger, right? Manual trigger. Action means what are the action you want to execute whenever you run this Power Automate flow. So let's assume I want to just retrieve the count of the records. Suppose we have too many custom entities which we created, right? So I just want to see the how many loan details are my name, or I want to just see the how many loan details records are there for my system. So how do you want to do? So basically, you want to trigger it, then you want to connect to your CRM, then you want to retrieve the records, loan details record, right? So to connect each kind of a environment, we will have the connectors actually. So if you see, you have these are the types, different action connectors we have: run a prompt, respond to agent, run a generative action, built-in tools. These are the controllers. These are the actions applied to each do until switch loop, everything. Now, if you see, what is this? We'll just built-in tools, daytime flows, everything. Now, if you see, we want to connect to CRM, right? For the CRM, we will be having the Microsoft Dataverse. So we need to use this Dataverse connectors. In this Dataverse connectors, you will have n number of actions: add a new row, delete a new row, download file, download image, get row by ID, list rows, perform background option, all this. So we need to understand what do you mean by each thing, what is its capability, when you can use it. Okay. So what is my expectation here? I just want to connect this my LUT dev environment. I want to retrieve the loan details. So for that purpose, I can use list rows. List rows means getting the records. So here, if you choose this action, what it is asking to choose table name. Okay. So what is my table name? It's loan details, right? So you have to choose it. Loan details, loan procedure. Columns. So what are the columns you want to retrieve? Do you want to retrieve all columns or specific columns? So if you don't mention anything, it will be retrieving all columns. Suppose if you want to retrieve only name, so then you have to give the name of the schema name of that one. So if you remember, I was asked to install in the one of the class. I explained to install the extensions, right? Browser extension. So we installed level up. So in this level up extensions, we have these logical names. So suppose where we will be using this logical name, because so in the Power Automate flow, in the JSON, in the plugins, where everywhere we will be using the logical name of the fields. We don't use the display name, because this display name you will be using this today's. After some time, if you want to change to something else, you can change the label name. But the backend name, whatever we have it in the server, that will be like a constant. The that is nothing but a logical name or schema name. So for any data operations like from Power Automate, from JavaScript, from plugins, we will be using these logical names, schema names only. Okay. So now I just want to retrieve only name. So that's why I'm just keeping this schema name of this field. Suppose if you don't keep anything, it will retrieve everything. Okay. Filter rows. Suppose if you want to apply any conditions. So for that purpose, you will be using this filter rows. Okay. So sort by, do you want to filter sort by any column? You can give that column name. Fetch XML query. Suppose if you want to retrieve the data with fetch XML query, we will be using that one. So we'll go one by one. So first, assuming I'm just using the plain retrieve records, get records action. I'm not passing any other details except to this LUT name. Let's save it. So what will happen now? This is a manual triggers, means I have to trigger it manually to invoke this Power Automate flow. Then what is the action it has? It is retrieving the list rows. So to make it more readability, everything, you can name this to some meaningful list get loan details. You can label, you can give the labels to for each step as your own. So for easy understand. Okay. So what it is, so if you see like this from the without the flow opening also, what you can see if you open the flow for the first time, if you click on edit, you can see like this is triggering whenever you are running manually, then it is retrieving the get loan details. Like that you will understand very. So to make it too easy to understand the steps, we will give the proper namings as well. Okay. Now I want to test it. So to test it, what you do? So it has to trigger manually, right? So either you can run it directly, or you can, if you see on this flow button, you have run option. You have, so basically it's turned off, run on. So whenever you want to execute this one, you have to, it won't execute in automatically because it is a manual trigger. So you need to explicitly invoke it, right? So you need to run it manually. Run one flow. So I have given the parameter, right? What is the date you need to keep? So that parameter, see, as you have chosen the date parameter, it is giving a calendar kind of input. So you can choose the input, whatever the input you want to keep. Okay, we are running today, so you will choose today's date. So if you want to run the tomorrow's, you will be choosing the tomorrow's date like that. So I'm just keep choosing the today's date. You can choose anything else. You can choose yesterday's date also. It won't restrict because we don't have any logic there. Now if you see here, it is just executed for 23 milliseconds. So it's none. Now what will happen? It is connected to my Dataverse. It should retrieve my all loan records, loan details records. Now if you see, so this is what I said, for every Power Automate action that will convert to API, right? So if you click on this code view or anything, you will have this kind of structure, open API connection, what are the parameters you are passing, and what is the API ID you are using, what is the connection, like this. So if you see in the code view also, you will have a similar kind of details what you have configured in the UI. Now if you come to run details, so here you will have the info what you have passed in the inputs. Field name we have given, entity name we have given, what are the select columns we have given, what are the order by columns we have given. And if you go back to outputs, we will have the actual records. Now if you see in the body we have, see clone from record. These are the records I have it in the here, right? So same records you will be getting here. 12 records you have. So here also you will, if you copy this body value, the whatever you have it in the body, this will be 12. Looks like this is also the migrated now. So I'm just adding JSON here. So if you see, you have 12 records. So what it is seeing, so it's connecting to my Dataverse environment. It is pulling only name and it is fetching the 12 records. How many? If you have 13 records, it will fetch the 13 like that. So if you see, for every record you are getting loan details ID is a common. Even if you don't mention loan details ID, record ID, it will retrieve it. So this is the schema name I mentioned. So this is nothing but a name. So the every backend info, the whenever you are using any Power Automate action, the data will be in the JSON format only. So this is in the JSON format. You have the headers, the information here, status code success. It is able to run that. able to fetch the get records with API. So it is status code is 200. Then this is the headers what we are using. Authentication activated, the cookie, everything. Now if we go down, you have the body. What is the URL for your org LUT demo CRM Dynamics API data? This is the current CRM org API in URL. Then you have the total record count. These are some information we are not using. Then the main records we have it in the value. Okay. Now this scenario, what we did, we just did the simple get records. Now you want to apply some filtering. You want to retrieve only records for Harish. So you have too many other, but you want to retrieve the records which are there for Harish. So that time what you can do, you can use OData filters in the Dataverse connectors. So you can mention OData. So first of all, do you know what I mean by OData filters? So for that purpose, so you can just use this AI tools for anything. OData filter Power Automate. Filter was using. So filter was using by data means so data values comparison. You will have the comparison EQ, logical operators, column operators, everything you will see. So like this, you will be defining what is filter you want to use. First name equal to last name. You want to apply any if you have multiple filters, you will use the logical operators. If you have any grouping operators, you will be using like this. Okay, my requirement is like, so let me open ChatGPT also. So create the OData filter for querying name column. This value. So what is the value I want to query with Harish in Power Automate? You need to give the proper info to make it understand. So I mentioned I want a OData filter. So if you see, use this for data filter in Power Automate. If your column name schema is different, place replace with actual schema name. So what is our schema name of this column? LUT name, right? So I have to replace. But if you give like this, what will happen? It will retrieve only which are exactly matching. EQ means exactly matching. I want to check I want to check the conditions. Contents only, not equal. So this is the, it is suggesting something. So you just copy the thing. So what is my schema name? This is my schema name full. And this is my value I want to search, save it. So earlier we have 12 records retrieved, right? Now let's run it again. We will see how many records it will appear. So every time you don't need to go to the home page to run it. From here also you can click on the test. Manually trigger. Yes, if you want to trigger automatically means from the previous runs. So I'm triggering manually only. This is because anyway it's a manual trigger. I'm choosing default value, today's date. Executed. So to see your runs, where you have to go from this home page, you have to see the all flow details here. Here you have test succeeded. So whenever you're running test, it is showing test succeeded. If you run normally, it will show succeeded. Now, if you go further, you will have the each step, each action, what's the status of executed. This one, first one is a triggered, then it is triggered. So what is the output of this one? Results. So earlier we were getting all records. Now if you see, we were getting only which are contents are rich. So like this, you can apply filtering also. So first of all, why do we do all this stuff? So why do we apply filtering? Why do we do retrieve records? Why do we why do we make why do we use this dataverse triggers? So at the end, you will be have some goal. So you want to send some reminder email, or you want to send some record update automatically, like that, right? So to do this, suppose, so whatever the names it is there with me, I want to delete it. Suppose if you have 5,000 records, that is not that easy task, right? You have to select the each 50 records per page or 100 records per page, then you have to click it. So if you want to do any operation that is manual operation, which will take some time, if you want to do automate it, suppose I want to delete data. So whatever the records created for my name, which contains with my name, I want to delete it. So in the above step, I am just retrieving wherever I have the name contains arranged. Now I want to retrieve the row. So for retrieving a row, you should also know the table, what record you have to delete. So you have to choose the table name here. Then you have to give the row ID, unique identifier of the GID. So for every record, we will have one unique identifier, right? So you have to pass it. So if you want to check the unique identifier for this record, you can use this level up tool. Here you will be having the record ID. So this is the record ID. So the same thing you want to do from the back end, right? So you have to pass the unique identifier ID. So how do you pass the unique identifier? Suppose if I give hard coded, it will record only my record. I want to make it dynamically, it will automatically pull wherever the name contains, right? So you have to use the output of this existing records. So for that purpose, if you see here, you have this power symbol here and effects. So what does that mean? If you want to use the previous step output, you will be using this power symbol. So here, these are the parameters which are coming from the previous steps. So these are the environment variables. This brown color, whatever we have parameters, we are not going to use them. Then you have the get lane locals record. You have this step, right? So you have this o.id name next link. So I am just using o.data row id. So that is nothing but a GID of the record. Now, so whenever you applied this, used the output from the previous step, automatically for each loop applied, because this will return multiple records output, and you are doing a operation here. So if you want to do the operation for all records, you have it has to be in the loop, right? That's why automatically loop is created. Okay, now I'm just running it. Let's see what will happen. Choosing manually, giving the manual date to see my flow run. I have to go page. See, now it's failed. I know why it's failed. So whenever you have any failed step in the flow, the flow status will be like this. It will be failed, and you can see the exactly where it is failed and what step it is failed and which action it is failed. So it is showing not found. So if it is not, the record is there, it's not found means you have to see what is the input you are passing, right? Now if you see here, you are using the deleter record operation ID. Parameter is elite name. This is proper record ID. So instead of record ID, what you are passing? You are passing OData ID. So ideally, I have to give only this GID, right? But I'm not. I am passing entire this URL of this one. That's why it is failing, right? So what you need to do, you have to fix this. So you do. So you know, or you may not do the error. So what you will do in that case? So you have to use this charge API tool again. So let's dump here. It's failing. This is so. If you see here, if you directly give the error message, it is assuming this is failing for the list rows. That's why it is giving the error related with respect to list rows, but it is not failing with list rows. It is failing for delete row, right? So to make it more clear understanding, if you have to mention that it's a delete row like that. Also, you need to give the details. Then only it will able to understood. So if I'm just putting again delete with a complete screenshot, let's see how it responds. Not in the OData filter. Deleted usually means record it doesn't exist. Wrong row ID passed, wrong table selected. Most common issue probably passing name field instead of row GID. Example valid GID. So what we pass it in the valid GID you are passing. So if you want to break further, you can pass this whatever you are passing to ChatGPT also. It will tell what is the error exactly. See, this is the issue is here. Record ID, it is the literal record should contain only GID, not the full URL. Correct it to like this. So how do you correct that one? So you have to edit it. Select out from previous steps. Okay, sorry. This is the loop iteration. Now expand. Click on delete row. So you are selecting o.id. So you have to choose the GID, right? So what is my step? Get loan details. Manual trigger. So if you see, you have given only LUT name in the previous step. That's why you are not getting the GID. So to get the GID, what you have to pass? You have to pass the GID of the column GID as well, right? So how do you know the column schema name? Schema name of that one. The name schema name you are getting directly from here. So to know the GID, you have to open record in web API. If you see these are the all columns will be have it in record. So this is my record unique identifier column name. So this will be table name plus ID. So this is my table name, right? Then this is a constant. Table name plus ID, it will be same for every record. Okay. Just click and save. See now, once you added, you are getting loan details. Unique identify the entity instance. Earlier we were not getting, right. So like this. So like this, whatever the column you mentioned, those columns only it will come. It's not likely everything come. So why we will do the select columns to make it more far. So for suppose if you have 500 columns to retrieve 500 columns, that will take some extra 2 3 milliseconds, right? That's why we will use what of the columns we need. Now I'm just running this. So earlier I used to have 12 records in my loan details. Now I'm retrieving wherever I have name Harish and I'm just deleting the others. Okay. Now it is running flow status. For each is triggering. 5 records executed. Earlier it was failing. Now 5 delete rows succeeded. So if you have any failure in the middle, you can navigate to that record 5 records. If you refresh, what will happen? I will have 7 only. Right? So this is how we will be doing. So in our scenario, we have only 5 records, but in the real time, you have 5,000 records, you have 10,000 records, which are duplicates, or you have like that. So like that, you will be automating whatever you are doing in the manual in the CRM. It could be record creation, record delete, fetching the records, or updating the record like that. Any questions? So this is the instant. So in the instant flow, you can have any actions below. I just explained with simple data versus list actions and data versus delete row, right? You can have any. So after releasing, you want to send an email. You can have a send an email connectors. So for the email connector, you have to use Outlook Mail, right? You either if you have Office 365, you have to use Office 365. Suppose if you want to use Gmail, for the Gmail also you will have connector. If you want to send any Teams message, for the Teams message also we can send it. So like this, we can use any kind of connector. I'm using some. So this is also hard coded. Suppose instead of hard coding, if you want to use any existing thing, so I'm just giving some dummy. So after executing this, you want to send any notification. So you will be using like this. Okay. Now I will just run it again. Continue. Unauthorized. Store on. So why it is unauthorized? You can go to output error. So it is showing some issue. So I will dump this error to also ChatGPT. We are using Power Automate trial account, right? We may not have full privileges. Delete. Add Office 365 send email. But to use Office 365 further also, we should have a proper trial license. Okay. Create a mailbox user ISNA license. That is a different scenario. So like this, you will be having any connector. So you can create a Outlook connectors, you can create a Teams connector, you can have a different connector. Suppose if you want to create one more record after deleting for all these records, if you want to have a single record also, you can run it. Okay. Now this is instant cloud flow. We are triggering from manual. Let's go back to our home. So we have created this. So we want to automate the flow, automated by some other event. So in the business process flow also, we just record is creating with some other record creation, right? So same steps what here also you can do. So whenever I'm creating bank application, whenever I'm creating bank application, I'm creating the loan detail, right, with process. Now what I will do, whenever I'm creating bank application, I will create a customer or contact for this applicant. Okay, so like create contact for applicant, create contact and bank application submission. So you can have any name, some meaningful name. So here choose your flow trigger. When do you want to trigger it? I want to trigger on bank application trigger, right? Sorry. So for that one, you have to choose this. That is basically Dataverse record, right? So you have to look for Dataverse. So record creation means whenever row is added, choose this. Now here you have to choose what is the type, what are the invoke type. Hmm. Table name. I want to trigger on my bank application name. Let it load actually. So it's why it's not loading. I haven't connected. So let's connect to this environment. Connected to Dataverse. Now it will load. When do you want to trigger it? Added, deleted, added, more modified, added or modified, deleted, deleted. So these are the events. So whenever record is added, record is created. Whenever record is created and whenever is recorded is deleted. Modified means whenever record is updated. So I want to trigger it on whenever a new bank application submitted, right? So I have to choose added. Then what is the table name? You have to choose bank application, right? So you can look for it, bank applications. Then scope. So do you want to run this Power Automate for everyone or do you want to run it for yourself? So based upon the entity scope, it will be selected. So this is the organization level bank application, right? So that's why it will be having only organization option. Support is if you have user or team scope, you will be getting the BU everything for whom you want to run it. So here also you have the select columns, filter rows. Do you want to run it for only specific users? Do you want to execute only specific column update? You will be choosing. Okay, I'm just creating the save. So it will ask to add at least one action. So what I want to do, whenever this application is submitted, I want to create a contact. So again, you have to look for Dataverse. Create record means create contacts means you have to create record, right? So look for all Dataverse, add a new row for creation of record. So here again you have to choose table, contacts. So you have to fill the details, right? Whatever you will fill the manually. So last name is a mandatory field. It is appearing here. Address one, city one, everything. So I want to fill this detail from the previous step. So where do you get? So here if you see in the power symbol, you are getting the all previous actions output. So if you see here, when a row is modded or modified, you can see more. So applicant name, I want to map with my last name with applicant name. Then you have to choose it. Address one. Do you have address one something column? No. You have only email address, mobile number. Let's link map something with company name, contact name, description. I want to just keep the email and phone number here in the description. Okay. So you have to look for email address. Then I just want to have colon. Then I'm filling phone number. See more. Email address, phone number, mobile number. Okay, so what will happen? It will trigger whenever a dataverse operation occurs. What is that operation? Added. What it will do? It will create a one another contact record. So to test further, I want to see what are the contacts there for my system. So this contact is not is added in the sitemap. So I want to open still the table. So for that purpose, you can use this level up. Here you will have the list rows, list open list. So here you have to give the entity schema name. So my entity schema name is contact. I'm just giving this. So it will open a new window where it will show the all active contacts. So I have these many active contacts. Okay, right now I have 18. Okay, now what I want to do, I just I want to do it to test my flow, right? So when you how do you test it? This is not a manual trigger one, so you can't run it. If you see it for earlier one, you are having a run option as it is a instant manual trigger one. This is a automated cloud flow, right? This has to be invoked by some other process, some other action. So what is that action? You have to create a bank application here. So I am just filling the details. So I'm giving just today's date, appending to identify my record easily. Email address, mobile number I will be giving. Okay. So what will happen now? It has to create a new contact for me. So if you refresh here, earlier we have 18. If you refresh, you should get the one more, right? You got it. One more is created. This is the one. So I just mapped full last name and description, right? Where is the description column? See, in the personal notes, you have email and like this. So you can map whatever the columns you need. Then you will be achieving the goal like this. So you can do some any business operation. Suppose whenever status changes to something else, you want to trigger, you want to make some email, you want to do some other record creation, some other record deletion, some other record modification. Everything, whatever you want to do, you can do that. So you have email column. If you want map email, you will be choosing email as well. Okay. Hashtags if you want to keep if you want to keep any hard coded string, so you can pass this the job title if you want to have anything, and if you want to use any functions, you can use this dynamic functions, dynamic content concatenation of something. Okay, so like this we will be using the all. So any questions on understanding this instant and automated cloud Qasim? So in your day to day, suppose if you might be doing some manual stuff, right, for the operations. So for that purpose also you can create Power Automate flows in your environment if you have proper access. Suppose if you have 50 records to update something, you can use Power Automate to do that operation. Okay, now I'm just testing with one more record. I will use same bank application -1. Now one more contact will be created. If you go to this contact, 20 is created. Email also populated now. So like this, we will be achieving we will be mapping dynamic values from the previous steps. I will be using the dataverse. Okay. So let's go to the next type. Now what we have seen, we just seen what is instant what is automated. So what is the leftover schedule? So you choose when and how it happens. So this is kind of a man recurring job or timer trigger job. Okay. So you will mention at what time you want to execute. So after executing, what it has to do, the actions you need to specify. So in the instant you are clicking manually, but with the schedule flow, you don't need to click manually. Suppose if you want to trigger everyday status email, suppose, or contacts. So you want to send a some status email which are created every day. So 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 let's assume you are having 6 p.m. is the your logout. 6 p.m. Last time you want to pull the reports. Let's take this one. So repeats for every day. So it will run today 6 p.m. and it will start. This flow will run every day. Okay. Create. So that recurrence automatically these are piped in. So what at what time do you want to trigger it? You want to choose the time zone. Is it IST or PST or whatever? So time you are it this hours. So you want to run it 6 p.m. right? You have to choose it. Now if you click on next step, so you want to give the actions what you want to do once it is triggered. So I want to list the all the records created on today. Let's assume. So for that purpose, what is the connections I have used? List rows in the CRM, right? So if you see, you could see the Excel option. What's the table name? I want to choose the contacts, right? So let's look for contact. Select columns. You want only email, full name, email description, email, full name. In that case, what you have to keep, you have to give the schema names of that one, right? So let's find the schema names. So I need the email and I need the description. So description is a summary. Where it is here, I have to fetch it again. So this is the description, and I want a full name. So where is my full name? In the contact record. Basically, full name is the concatenation of last name and first name. So you may not have directly full name on the form. Do you have it? Full name. So you can give that full name from API. Open recorded web API. Look for full name. You will know the schema name. So this is the full name schema. So I just defined 3 columns. So I want to records created by today only. So how do you pass dynamically? So for that purpose, you don't need to do anything. Copy this OData filter for OData filter for record created today. If you see it is giving some expression, you can just try do the copy paste until tomorrow. Better recommend to approach the today's record only. So created on greater than some timestamp it is given. So you can just copy this and go to Power Automate. So here you want to you are using some expressions, right? So in that scenario, you have to use this fx. Okay. So this is in the right format. So you can keep as is. So if we put it here, it will come like this, created greater than. So what it is doing UTC now, today's date. Whenever you use UTC now function in the Power Automate, it will give the today's timestamp. So with the today's stamp, it is checking after 12 a.m. right? 0000 means like that. So created on greater than 12 a.m. So obviously it will pull the today's records, right? So this is likewise I am applying filter. Now I want to run it. Ideally, it will trigger every day at what time 6 p.m. But I want to see it now. I don't want to. I want to explicitly run it. So for this recurrence also we will have a run. For instant and recurrence we will have a run option. For the automated one you don't have a run option. Okay, run flow. So ideally I created two contracts today. Right? Rest all are there before. Out of 20, only two are created today. So only it should fetch two. It is succeeded. List shows. To see the output, you have to click on output to show the input, what it is executed. You can see this, what is entity, what are the columns you selected, what are the filters created and greater than 2026 27 5 12 a.m. This is the file format, time format, hours, minutes, seconds, application JSON. Everything is the application JSON only. If you go to outputs, you will have the bodies. So you have only two records created today. So these are there. Okay. This only we created today, right? So like this, you will be pulling. So after pulling the record, if you want to do any status email or anything you want to send, right? So you have to add the Outlook connector, the respective Outlook connector, send email connector. You will have send email connector. So the problem with send email connector is, right, we should have an active Office license, Office 365 license. So as we are into trial account, right, we don't get the Office 365 license. Let me try once. So let me give the hard coded for now. Records created today. So you want to pass the count number of records, right? So how do you pass it? So you have to give the basically count of okay. So that in that purpose you will have we will have functions actually length of function length length of collection. So our what is it? Our list was also one of the collection, right? So you can use that. You have to write it the function mode only. So list rows. For this also you can use direct ChatGPT. You don't need to struggle. Create an expression. Get the length of create an expression. This is not working. So in the dynamic content, what you can do, output length. Now I want to insert list rows body add. So this will give the body of length of list rows. Okay, click on records created today. Here I want just contact records, contact record status hyphen date. What is the date I want to use? I want to use today's date. So I will just use UTC now function this time. UTC now. So this will give the current timestamp of the flow whenever it is executing. Flow is ready to test. I'm just running it from here only. Choose manual. Run flow. Invalid unable process because send an email unable process simple language is the large capture. Something is wrong, so it will fail. That's fine. Why it's failed? Code view. What you are passing? Send email, list rows, email body, record created length. So you can dump this to ChatGPT. So everyone will get errors. That's not a problem, but you should know what should unable to upload. Maximum uploads limited. So for this also we have limitations. So I will just do the copy paste. So this is how they will make us habituated to the LLMs. Then they will restrict with the license, subscriptions, tokens, limitations, everything. Use instead. So like this we have to use value. Let me update it. So why I'm using every time some AI tool to explain, because I want to feel you like you can do it without making struggling. Okay, so it's not like you have to use always. So if you know you can manage, that's the confidence I want to give you guys. Okay, the expression has a problem. You can fix it manually or Copilot. Just want this is work. Are you getting what I'm saying? Awesome.
Yes, yes, sir. Will be.
So I am using for every small error also I'm putting into ChatGPT because to make you
Yeah.
confident, like you can also use a similar way. You feel like I'm not expert that much. You shouldn't feel. So everyone is same with these tools. So
Okay.
if you have experience, you will troubleshoot on your own. If you don't have experience, you will rely on some other. That's the only thing. Now if you see recurrence list rows, send email sent. So if you go to my email outlook, this one personal email. So I would receive an email, contact record status. Record. So now we want to send the table. In the next class, we will see. I just created the plain text. Let's suppose I want to build a table in this state. So contact record status. This is the timestamp current 10:23 UTC. Okay. UTC means 5.5 hours back to India, right? So what's the time in India? It's 15:10, no? 15:10 plus 5.5 means 20 plus.
3 2.
Yeah, like that. So we can use this. So today we have seen what is Power Automate, how many types we have, what are the connectors we used Dataverse connector for different operations. Okay, tomorrow we will explore deeper. Okay,
Okay.
any questions?
Tomorrow